Welcome into Two Ball Guys on the Right. It is the Thursday edition. It is a Thursday, right? Well, yeah, I think it's Thursday, right?
Yes, it's Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I was just double checking. It is a Thursday at Two Ball Guys on the Right. We call this the New Mexico edition of Two Ball Guys on the Right. And I'm not a big singer, Will. You know that I'm not a big singer. But I just got to say, Michelle, my gal, where are you and where is your leadership after we discovered all this money that was overpaid from Workforce Solutions? So we'll talk about that this morning. We'll talk about, this afternoon, tonight, whatever the heck it is. I don't know. I've been up way too long. We'll talk about the former director of Workforce Solutions, the guy who is now unemployed, who was unemployed for like 6 years before he got that job, Couy Griffin. The mayor of Albuquerque post a sign about Donald Trump and oil and gas. How much is it paying for our colleges? We'll also talk about ethics investigation against Michelle Lujan Gresham, Aubrey Dunn, literacy, and more coming up. Where do we rank in literacy? Numbers aren't looking good. Yeah,
at the bottom, for sure.
It does not look good. So look. We're about to get monetized. We just need you to watch more videos. And please continue to subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. Please turn your friends on to Two Ball Guys on the Right. We'd greatly appreciate them subscribing and watching and passing it on to other people. That's the most important thing you can do is subscribe, watch, and pass it on to somebody else. And don't forget to hit that notification button. So let's
that way you know when we come on, right?
Yeah. That way everybody will know when we come on. Let's touch on what's going on with Workforce Solution. I personally believe the governor should be upfront. Now, the governor's office did release a statement today saying that with Bill McCamley claimed about why he left the office was true, but she's not saying why this happened. So we are $100 million to $250 million in unemployment benefits that were paid out to people that had no business getting that money. In some cases, you had people applying for unemployment under a company's name, and they never worked for that company. And guess who was going to have to pay that money or has been paying that money? The company.
Oh, sure.
The company is paying that money. And now we're going to have to pay all this money back to the federal government. How much money are we talking about? Now, the Ricky Cerna, who is the new acting director of Workforce Solutions, said that he believes the number is closer to $105 million, not $250 million. $105 million is way too much. And he goes on to say that they've recovered about $172 million, and that it's about 2.8% of benefits have been overpaid. And by the way, legislative analysts are saying, it's closer to 8%. And the state had to borrow $270 million from the federal government, and we're continuing to make payments on this money with interest. And a report recommends the only way that the state is going to recoup this money, raise taxes. Here,
of course.
Raise taxes.
Well, and now we're going to have to pay for their mismanagement. That's fantastic.
And the governor should be upfront and personal with this, but she is not. Democrat Patricia Lundstrom goes on to say about this particular problem. Here's what she had to say today.
We don't want to see any automatic increases to businesses. That is the key issue.
So thank you, KOB. And then a Republican, Crystal Diamond, pretty strong words about the same thing when she was asked about about who's going to pay for this, what's going to happen. Here's what she had to say.
We are left with trying to fix this problem. What we don't want to happen is we don't want small businesses to be left having to really carry the weight of this.
And she pretty much charged the governor and her leadership.
The reality is that we're well over a year, and ultimately this falls in the governor's office and the executive. And this went on for far too long. And now legislators are being presented with somehow coming up with a solution of fixing a problem that should have never started and certainly should have never grown to the rate it is presented today.
All right, what do we know about Bill McCamley? What exactly do we know? We know that he was unemployed between 5 and 6 years when the governor gave him this political payback job, and he started running the Department of Workforce Solutions, and there were so many problems with people. I'm talking about people that actually paid in the unemployment, and I'll mention my wife. My wife was on unemployment. And I actually had to call a state representative and say, hey, I need your help, man. And this representative, that's pretty much all he was doing in the beginning because the system is so convoluted. It's 2 websites. They've rolled into one. It's hard to maneuver throughout the website. You could only call on certain days, but when you would call, it wouldn't tell you that. It would ask you for your birthday and then hang up on you. It wouldn't say, hey, if your birthday falls in February, you can only call on Tuesday. If it falls in June, you can call on Wednesday, and so on and forth. It would just hang up on you. And people are like, what the hell's going on here? But Bill said that the problem started during the pandemic, and I understand. They were inundated, and the phone calls were coming in, but the system sucked, and there was when you just hang up on people abruptly, you don't expect people to get pissed?
Well, look,
it's going to happen.
we just gave all of these different departments all of this extra money, gave them all these big raises. Why not, instead of giving all these people raises, how about give some of this money that you guys mismanaged, and how about making sure that you have the right person, not somebody who is unemployed. I mean, yeah, I guess he's an expert in unemployment, but why don't you have somebody who actually knows how to do the job in charge?
Political hack. Political payback. That's what that was. But he posted on Twitter that he wanted to basically just quietly go away. And he said that after a Las Cruces state vehicle at the Workforce Solution office was firebombed, and then he personally became aware of a guy that had called and wanted his home address, and supposedly his mother was threatened, his wife was threatened, and he said for the safety of his family, that's why he left. It couldn't be that there's $250,000 worth of missing.
No, of course not. But this didn't all come out at the same time. That's not a coincidence. Of course not.
No, but the governor said that that they have nothing but supportive, classy understanding for Bill. Thank you very much for that, Governor. Now she didn't say that. Her team said that. Here's the deal. There are people that never had a lick of work, and we heard the stories. We had people that picked up cans on the side of the road that filed for unemployment and were awarded unemployment and all the extra money that goes along with this. I don't know. Somebody at the state should be smart enough to go, did you pay taxes on that money? No? Okay. You're not
You don't have
eligible.
a New Mexico state income tax. You say you lived in New Mexico for X amount of years. You haven't had any income tax at all. Sorry.
Left hand knowing what the right hand is doing. That would be great. That would be awesome. But we just gave this money out because in the beginning, you remember, it was the Fed's money. It was the Fed's money. So we gave, look, I know a guy that has never hit a lick of work in his life. And he got money. And he got back pay of it was like $12,000. I was like, wow. It must be nice. And so people lied, and hopefully the state will get the money back, but I'm very doubtful. These are people that have no means to pay the money back. What are you going to do? Seriously.
Right.
What are you going to do? You're not going to throw them in jail. We let all these prisoners out of jail. I'm talking about violent offenders. We let them out of jail. You're going to throw these people back in jail? Oh, forget about it. It is not going to happen. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Well, it looks like Couy Griffin from Cowboys to Trump has filed a motion to dismiss the case, and his attorneys filed the motion. And part of this was the discussion on the steps of the Capitol is not in the Capitol. And I'm surprised somebody in D.C. didn't figure this out. You would have to be inside the Capitol. And that's what they're saying. And so we'll see. We'll see where. Look, 400 people have been charged right now in connection with what they're calling the insurrection. They have formed a special committee to look into this. But if you're not in the Capitol, I'm talking about in the building, that's a whole different deal. Couy Griffin still says to this day that he was there to pray with people.
The more videos come out of the stuff, and there's a lot of body cam footage from these officers that was never released. That there's like, I forget how many hours that they've never released it. So as long as they keep on withholding all this evidence, at some point this stuff will come out. And when it does, I think it's going to show that, the Republicans are pretty much exonerated from a lot of this.
Yep.
And the few bad apples that made the mistakes are going to get the book thrown at them. But by the same standpoint, so should the Democrats. Honestly, Nancy Pelosi has way more culpability in this than Trump does, than Trump ever did. Trump said, we'll march and peacefully protest.
Yeah.
Nancy denied all of this extra National Guard troop.
Yep.
And, of course, afterward, they brought in this huge force and built the wall and all this other crap when they could have had people there to begin with that would have stopped any of this stuff dead in its tracks.
How many videos have you seen where the Capitol Police are directing people through the fence?
Like it's a tour.
Come on. Here we go. Come on. Let's go.
And then the fake narrative of the mainstream media saying that this officer got beat over the head with a fire extinguisher was killed by protesters. The only person that killed by protesters was one of the protesters. That was killed was one of the protesters, and that was by. We don't even know who it was by for sure. We don't know if a Capitol Police officer fired the shot, if Secret Service fired the shot. It is undetermined and still unreleased on who actually fired the shot.
I'm looking forward to the investigation because I think there's some critical information that's going to come out about this. And when it comes to Couy Griffin, if he was not in the Capitol building, I don't think you can charge him.
No. Not legitimately, but they did, and they held him without bail for how many days?
Yeah, and didn't even let the guy take a shower. Didn't even have a working commode. Oh, my goodness. You know who's treated better than Couy Griffin? The immigrants, the illegals that are coming into this country, staying at hotels. They were treated better.
You know what? Do you want better? You know who else is treated better? The friggin' detainees at Guantanamo are treated better.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Let's give them soccer fields and all kind of other stuff. Yeah, they were treated a lot better. It's crazy. Albuquerque, to me, has become a shithole. It really has. There are, 53 or 54 murders? After a while, you just stop counting.
Yeah.
And I look at who would want to move to Albuquerque. I see these, Facebook and Intel and all. Who would want to move their family to Albuquerque with 54 murders, and we're not halfway through the year?
I don't even want to go there for our broadcast conference half the time because when we do, how paranoid are we about our cars? Because everybody's had their car broken into when we've gone to Albuquerque at least once.
I tell you what, last time I was in Albuquerque, went to the bathroom at a McDonald's. There's a guy shooting up in the bathroom. I'm going, what the hell? No, I don't want to go. But the mayor, Tim Keller, is, man, I tell you what, this guy's got his priorities all wrong. So they put up a sign in Albuquerque that says, welcome to Albuquerque, population 559,000 plus. We do not accept checks from Donald J. Trump. You know, the laughing part of this whole thing is they did accept a check from him for over $200,000 in services. Now they're saying he stiffed them for another $200,000. I'm wondering that, I don't know. What's her name? Dr. Jill Biden just left Albuquerque. I wonder if they charged her the same fee.
Right.
Probably not. Not. Now, the fee was being charged because he held a rally in Rio Rancho, not even at Albuquerque.
Nope.
And this was for security as he landed at the airport.
It's retarded.
And they paid you. They paid you $200,000. How much security did you provide? He comes with his own security.
Yeah, he does.
So, thank you very much, Tim Keller. Keep it classy. 54 murders. Let's worry about that. Drug-infested city. Car thieves running rampant. Drugs all over the place. People shooting up on the streets and in the bathroom. And you're still worried about Donald Trump.
Yep.
You need to check mark your character. You really, really do. Looks like the oil and gas industry in New Mexico. What would we do without the oil and gas industry? Where would we be without the oil and gas industry? I'm going to tell you this much. All our colleges would be bad off. All these places where they teach kids to hate the oil and gas industry. A college like UNM, a third of their total budget is provided from the oil and gas industry. I don't know if you can see the graph, but a third. Total operating budget, $205 million for 2020. $68 million comes from the oil and gas industry. New Mexico Tech, total operating budget, $39 million. $13 million comes from the oil and gas industry. New Mexico State, total operating budget, $170 million. Oil and gas ponies up $57 million. And when it comes to New Mexico Health and Science Center, $99 million is the total budget, and oil and gas ponies up $33 million. Where would you get this money if it wouldn't be for
where are they going to get the money is the question, because with the way the state and the president are doing away with all of these oil rights on federal land and being able to get these leases, guess what? We're screwed, and so are you, colleges.
Yeah, you liberal professors, where's this money going to come from? You know, parents, maybe it would be cheaper just to buy the Communist Manifesto and give it to the kid and say, you're done. I can't pay for this. I can't. Moving on. Looks like organizers announced the return of the New Mexico State Fair. The general manager, Dan Mooring, said that the state fair will go on in person September 9th through September 19th. And they are now starting to fill jobs. There are 400 job vacancies, and they're hoping to fill those so the fair goes on like normal. That really doesn't affect folks in southeast New Mexico because I would say less than 20% attend the New Mexico State Fair.
I don't know. I would say there's probably a few more than that. I mean, there's definitely, there's probably at one time. I don't know if they still do, but the state fair was a decently good, big deal.
Yeah, but who wants to go to Albuquerque?
Nobody does anymore, and that's the problem.
And you know where the state fair is located?
Yeah, in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
the last few years,
but
people
it's right there
off
Louisiana. It's right there off Louisiana, and who would want to be in that slum?
I worked the state fair for many years at the Downs at Albuquerque at the racetrack there. So
that area right there is pretty rough. It really is. I don't know if I'd want to go. The governor starts pointing fingers as the ethics violations continue to pile up, probing her daughter getting paid $6,000. Guess what? Her daughter today on her LinkedIn account changed it that, no, I've never taken care of people in the Democratic Party. She removed it from her LinkedIn account. Yeah, we can't have any of that. And she's starting to bring up that Susana Martinez, 11-year-old case against Susana Martinez, who also used campaign funds for styling. The difference is it didn't go to Susana Martinez's daughter. That's it. That could be a little different.
I mean, don't they normally? I mean, when they're campaigning, isn't styling on some level a legitimate charge for being able? I mean, if they're going to go out and do a public appearance,
it could be. But I mean, I think
I would see, or if they're going to do a photo shoot. I mean, on some level, I would see that. I mean, what else are campaign funds supposed to be for?
But this did not happen on the campaign. This happened outside the campaign. Who knows? We might, and we know she used $63,000 of a campaign fund to pay off the guy that she groped.
Look, I'm not defending MLG. I was actually defending Susana Martinez, but I'm just, it's a legitimate question. But I agree. I mean, the nepotism and paying your daughter to style your hair whenever, but there again, wasn't this partially during the pandemic too, so that they weren't supposed to be doing any styling anyway?
Yeah. Well, she always had her hair looking good. I'm sure we paid for that too. No doubt.
Sure.
New Mexico, what are we going to do with the issues of education in New Mexico? And New Mexico ranks 49th in literacy, 49th in the nation. And the Literacy Project came out and said, New Mexico, man, we are at the bottom of the list. And let's look at this graph here that shows New Mexico and Mississippi. At one time, New Mexico and Mississippi were pretty even at the bottom of the bottom. But guess what? Over the last 5 years, 6 years, Mississippi has started to fix the problem. And I hate to say it, New Mexico's getting their tails kicked when it comes to reading for fourth graders. And we're just getting our butt beat by Mississippi.
The Mississippi rednecks are kicking our butts, aren't they?
Mississippi
that's just sad. I mean, you think about. I mean, I'm sure it's not indicative of everybody who lives in Mississippi. Obviously, I have family that live there, close to there. But that being said, they're known for not exactly the smartest bunch of folks over there, and yet New Mexico is worse. Great job for our state.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, keep up the good work. Look, if we would see some forward momentum, but we're flatlining. We're not seeing any improvement at all. And I'm going to tell you part of the problem. And I'm not going to put all of the blame on Michelle Lujan Gresham as much as I would love to. We have a problem with the PED.
Sure.
The public education department is a problem. And I'll tell you exactly what the problem is. The problem is it's a political football. Every time we get a new governor, they come in there and want to change this and change that and change that. And the people that it hurts are the students, the kids, because they want to do it their way and they want to change anything. Me personally, I think we should be more like other states where we have a board that is actually elected, a board that is elected and not a political board that is appointed by the governor.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only people that this hurts, and we will always be last as long as the PED is a political football. But the problem is the PED is power, and nobody wants to give up that power.
Well, no, exactly. None of these politicians want to give that up. And, of course, they're going to try to take credit for it or this or that. But, I mean, honestly, man, we are so dismal. We are so dismal. It's not working. It hasn't worked for years. They need to do something different, but they're not going to as long as they can continue to push their agenda and do what they want to do.
There are two schools in New Mexico that rank pretty good. I mean, they're not the tops in the United States, but two schools, and both of them are located in the same county. We need to look at what they're doing different. One of them is Alamogordo, and the other is Capitan. Those are the only two schools in New Mexico that rank superior. Two schools. We have 33 counties in New Mexico. I don't even know how many schools.
Well, technically, that's two counties. Two schools in adjoining counties.
Yeah, adjoining counties, I should say. Two schools. Wow. Man. I thought Capitan, not Capitan, Cloudcroft. I apologize.
Cloudcroft. No, if you're saying Cloudcroft, that is the same county.
Yeah, it was Cloudcroft. I knew it was just one county. Cloudcroft, not Capitan. Sorry,
yeah, Cloudcroft and Alamogordo are all Otero County.
Yeah, sorry, Capitan. We still love you. You did okay.
Yeah, but Capitan doesn't do bad.
Yeah. Well, we still love you. We don't want you rednecks. And our buddy, the rednecks. That's who I'm talking about. We don't want to start problems with those guys. This morning on our show, Being the Breakfast Club, we had a conversation with Aubrey Dunn, who's running for Congressional District 1. And for whatever reason, I would have used the audio. Sorry, Aubrey, I didn't record the interview for whatever reason. But Aubrey Dunn is running as a independent. I asked about why he was running as an independent. He said, I'm tired of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and nothing getting done. So he's running against Mark Morris and Melody Stansbury on the Democratic side. And front runner in that race, because it is a northern New Mexico district, I would think would be Melody Stansbury. He is running as an independent. He has recently filed a lawsuit against the governor that Hector Balderas, the attorney general, is trying to just kind of throw under the table and say, well, you're just trying to be opportunist. And Aubrey Dunn filed a Freedom of Information. He wanted some documents about the governor, and they failed to release those documents. And so he filed a lawsuit, and he's hoping to get those documents. And even though the attorney general is saying they're going to throw it out, so
right.
But Aubrey Dunn said he believes he had a pretty good chance at winning in Congressional District 1. Of course, Aubrey Dunn was also prior to that also shook up things as a land commissioner when it came with game and fish, and about how we gave out game and fish tags and so on and so forth. So Aubrey is, and look, it also is, Blair Dunn, his son, is an attorney. So, it makes it very easy to file lawsuits. But Aubrey Dunn, his brother and him were Democrats for a while, became Republicans, and now an independent running for Congressional District 1. No news that come out of the Republican convention. Good crowd in Amarillo, and some good speakers. I thought Steve Pierce would have said, hey, I'm running for governor. That did not happen. So as it stands right now, on the Republican side, 2 candidates along with Michelle Lujan Gresham, and there is an independent candidate and a libertarian candidate, if I'm not mistaken, that have also filed their paperwork with the state. I would suspect there'll probably be at least 2 more people to jump in to the governor's race, and I do believe that Steve Pierce will be one of those.
Interesting. I guess we'll find out. Time will tell.
Time will tell. We're not that far away from the governor's election. It's going to creep up on us very, very soon, and I would suspect Steve Pierce will run from our conversations last week with him, and I suspect that John Sanchez will run, and for whatever reason, I believe that Mark Ronchetti will not run and stay on the sidelines since he just went back to work for the TV station.
We'll see.
So we will see where that goes, and as soon as we find out, of course, we will pass that information on to you. Anything else, William?
I think that's it. Don't forget to check out our morning show we do each and every morning, 3 hours, Monday through Friday. Be in the Breakfast Club. You can find that on YouTube as well. We'd appreciate a subscription over there. And please do subscribe to Two Bald Guys on the Right. And don't forget, too, we are live streaming on our podcast forums. We've got Podbean, we've got Spotify, we've got iTunes. Anywhere you download and listen to an audio podcast, you can find us there. Just hit 1,000 downloads on Podbean as well. So we'd appreciate you checking those out whenever you get a chance. You can even tell your Alexa to play Two Bald Guys on the Right anytime as well.
That's awesome. So please subscribe, and we'll see you back next Thursday for the New Mexico edition. And on Monday, we'll be talking about what's going on in the nation. Oh, and there's some good stuff just coming out about human testing on babies at a university in America. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Biden pipeline in Russia that he decided, I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with American pipelines. So we'll talk about those also.
Coming up on Monday, Two Bald Guys on the Right. You guys have a good one.
Have a great weekend.